Last week, Audiblegate took off after pretty much simple questions about protections and how to check protections at the line, and it really evolved into this much bigger topic. It got back to Brock. We've heard Kyle Shanahan talk about it, so it's been an interesting development. But I think at its core, what that conversation was last week was how hungry people are, like myself, to understand the nuances that go into why decisions are made or why plays don't work. And, that is one of the really cool things that Kyle Shanahan dived into on KMBR yesterday. And he went in depth and provided all the information of why plays happened the way they did. And I appreciate that because I think with this fan base, obviously, I interact with the fans every single day. Fans want to know why these things are going down. And so to hear directly from Kyle, that's pretty darn cool. So I'm going to let you play. He goes on and on in depth. Take a listen right here as he joined Tolbert and Copes on KMBR yesterday.
I did want to ask you about a couple plays during last game against the Cowboys because people were asking about it. I had my own explanation, but I'm not you, so they were curious about before the first field goal, the 3rd and 11 draw play that people thought was a little conservative. I had my own explanation, but what would you say about that one?
I think people could say it's conservative, so it's throwing a screen there.
Yeah.
When you have 3rd or 10 plus, and you're hoping if they do a blitz or something and they want to be aggressive, that's great because then you have a chance to pick up that. If they don't, you're usually doing a lot of stuff to hopefully hit a check down for a 4-yard gain and risk getting a holding call that knocks you out of field goal range. We did it earlier in the game. We were right there on the fringe, and I think it was 3rd and 16 possibly, and I was hoping that they would blitz to get us out of there, and we actually called a sluggo, which is a slant and go double move on their corner, and they're just bailing out of there playing conservative, so you're kind of wasting it down, and we checked it down to George Kittle, and he got I think 6 yards, and we kicked a field goal. I was kind of predicting that they would do that there, which it gives you a good chance running the ball. If you can execute a couple blocks, it's not just conceding. It's something that when you play conservative defense, it's tough to stop the run in that situation. But we missed a couple, which didn't give us a chance of the first down, but it guaranteed we got in range for a field goal, and the guy made the field goal, so I was really happy about it.
Yeah. And then the end of the game, the 3rd and 1, I think it was the second to last drive where you called it was a rollout, and I think it might have been Debo that was coming across the formation, and he wasn't open. Brock got it tipped. The guy dropped it. It looked like he was upset that somebody didn't do something, and people were wondering why not run there. And I was like, well, there was a 6-man front, and you guys did it right before that and got stuffed for no gain. So that, to me, was fairly obvious. Like, it's hard to run against a 6-man front when they're going to stick too many guys up there. But was Brock upset at something in particular? Was there somebody that should have stopped or moved sideways or did something that he didn't like?
Yeah, there was a couple of things into it. First of all, I think we scrambled to get it into 2nd and 1. We ran the ball in 2nd and 1, didn't get it. That was, I want to say, our 4th, 3rd, and short in the game, and we always have 2 calls called on those. Not always, but usually 2 calls in this situation, and trust me, one of them is a run. But when they put not 6 guys, when they put 9 guys up there, they're daring you to run it. Because that's what they're defending. And it's kind of how the game went. We had gotten a quarterback sneak on the 3 previous 3rd downs. We had 3rd and goal on the 2, and they didn't honor the sneak in the run, and we were able to get a quarterback sneak on 3rd and goal from the 2 the series before and get a touchdown out of it on a sneak, which is rare from the 2-yard line. And after we did that, they weren't going to let us do it again. So they played gaps defense. They put everybody in there, which means you can bring a receiver from one side to the other, where every corner's got to go chase him all the way across the field to guard him, which is essentially impossible for him to stop him for a 1-yard gain.
Yeah,
that's what we did. It usually is Debo, but Debo was out in the game at that time. So
that's right.
Ronnie Bell came in backing him up, and he had it, and he was all alone. But the guy guarding George Kittle came off and took him away. And when he did that, Brock turned to run and go. And when Brock turned to run and go, then Ronnie turned to block. And when Brock turned to run and go, the guy who was originally guarding Ronnie, which was Diggs, he had caught up, not to Ronnie, but to Brock. And so Brock couldn't run. So then Brock looked back to Ronnie, who had already started to block because of that's what he saw. And then Brock was wanting him to get open for a pass, but that was just more that he didn't have anywhere to go, and he was the frustration at the end of the play. But I totally get what Ronnie was doing, and I totally get what Brock was doing.
Got it, man. Sometimes the defense wins, as they say. I'm just curious how you felt about that game, because I was saying it's hard to win in sports. Like when you're playing pro sports, it's hard to win any game. So any game you're happy you won, you'd like to finish it out a little cleaner. I said it almost felt like a baseball game where you're up 6-1, but you got to bring in your closer to shut it down. You win 6-4, 6-5. You still won. You're happy, but you're like, it'd be nice to commit an error or something, and you'd like to close it out cleaner. How'd you feel? I mean, obviously, you guys didn't do a good enough job guarding CeeDee Lamb at the end of the game, but you won the game. Do you just say, hey, we won, that's great, that's awesome, or hey, we won the game, but there's still plenty of things we need to clean up if we want to get to where we want to go?
Oh, yeah, that's always. And it's,
sure.
It was fun during the game, and you think you got a chance to win pretty easily there at the end. And then we make a couple mistakes, and the other team gets right back in it. And that's stuff I'm kind of talking about that we got to continue to get better at. I was proud our guys overcame it and were able to finish it. But when we get there in that last situation, it's things that you got to do to win the game. We had a huge jet sweep with Ricky, up 10 points there in the fourth, got us all the way down there. And we got a big third down that had a couple mistakes on that third down, which I thought we would have been able to move the chains. And we didn't get to because of that, which cost about 2 more minutes and gives you no chance of a touchdown. So we kick a field goal to make it 13 points, which you should still feel pretty good with 13 points. And with only 3.5 minutes to go, whatever it was. And but I don't feel good when they score in 4 plays and go 70 yards in 4 plays, and it makes it that fast. So when you look into those 4 plays, it's kind of what happened on those two. And we played some softer zone, trying to make them work for everything. And we had 2 routes in particular where our linebackers just took the cheese and jumped underneath stuff, so they were able to get explosives behind it. And then the next 2 plays, the ones where CeeDee got totally alone, we had 2 guys running into each other, which picked him and got him open on one. And the other one, when you're going no huddle and half the side makes one call, and then they communicated the wrong to the other. So we got one side playing zone, another playing man, and so it was one huge bust right there that got them all alone. So you got 2 guys jumping, and then you got 2 mistakes, and that's what happens. They got the right deal on when that did, and 2 guys get open uncontested, and just like that, it's a 6-point game with 3 minutes to go. Stuff's real.
That's okay.
And now it's real. And now you got to play football. So there's 3 minutes, and they got 3 timeouts left, which does not mean just run the clock out. It means you better get first downs, or this ball's going right back to them. And we got a scramble on first down, and then on the second down, it's 2nd and 3. We got another run, but they load everyone up, and just very similar to they did in the short yardage. So we go to the pass play to kind of answer, and we got Ricky Pearsall open for a touchdown, big time. But their safety is on the line of scrimmage, does not hesitate, and gets right to Brock before he can get it off. And it was really a hell of a job by Brock just holding on to the ball and not fumbling it. And then but after that, you go into a 3rd and 11 or whatever it is, and we weren't able to convert the first down there. So kicking it back to the defense and having 3 minutes to go in the game, and Dak with the ball only down 6, that's a terrible feeling, especially when you know where it was about 2 minutes before that. But what I was proud of there is there was only 4 plays left, because our defense, even though they definitely cracked for a little bit with a couple mistakes on the drive before, they held them 4 plays in a row, made them go 4 and out. We gave it back to the offense, and the offense ran it all the way down to the 1-yard line and slid and did our favorite formation, which is victory formation. So it got close there with a couple mistakes. We were able to overcome it, so I was very proud of our guys for that. And going into this bye week at 4-4 feels a lot better than 3-5, but it's all about how we come back, and do we get better or worse? And I expect us to get better when we come back.
So again, I don't know if this is like a correlation. We've heard Kyle provide explanation and nuance before, but it did feel kind of intentional. Like, let's talk about the plays that didn't work and why they didn't work, because I think just right now, it's so easy to get caught up in narratives that you can lose sight of what the actual topic was. And I think that's what Audiblegate was. We had specific questions about protections and checks at the line, and it turned into this thing about Brock Purdy can't call audibles. And obviously, we know that's not the case. There are checks at the line. He can get in and out of different plays based on looks, and it just kind of snowballed on us. And so, what I do like about this is it kind of brings us back. It kind of centers us, and it kind of allows the fans who want to understand this. There is a hunger for understanding scheme. There is a hunger for understanding context and nuance. It's not all about just, the whatever, entertainment side of football. There are a lot of people, especially in this fan base, who want to know that type of stuff. So I appreciate Kyle for doing that. I appreciate the questions asked by Tolbert. And it was a great conversation. I think I learned a lot from it. I hope you learn a lot from it, and I hope they continue this because I think understanding the hows and the whys for why plays don't work. I think that's great insight. So let me know what you guys think about this. A lot of people. I mentioned this on Twitter. A lot of people requested to hear this, so I wanted to put this together for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.